Okay, hello again. This was something I was not planning on talking about, and I just thought of it, and I thought, oh, I better share this for the citizens of Bountiful, Utah, because I just navigated this and I kind of figured it out. Anyways, about a year ago, or I don't know, less or more or less, I don't know. Google Fiber came into came into my neighborhood, and they were installing high-speed internet in the neighborhood. And then I've been on Google Fiber's website, and I keep asking, when are we going to have this available? When are we going to have this available? Well, here's the story. I don't quite know the answer to that, but I do know that Google's not available yet. But what has happened that the city, Bountiful City, kind of owns the infrastructure and had the infrastructure installed through a company called Utopia. And each user will have to pay the city a $38 bill that goes to Utopia for the infrastructure. And then there's a myriad of companies that you have to actually, internet service providers that you have to sign up separately, and you'll get a separate bill for that for just the internet. And let's see, I settled on a company called Intellipop, and they're scheduled to come install July 1st, I think, or 2nd, or something like that. And so I can't give you any experience with it, but let's just say me, my sister, who lives close to me, we've been with Xfinity forever, and it's just been so unreliable, especially when I'm working down in the basement. Internet phone calls will cut out. I'm taking phone calls. I was. And it's just unreliable. And almost every night it seemed like there was a glitch. Oh, at the time you want to see something, it's never there for you, it seems like. There are patches where, you go for a couple of weeks without such a glitch, and you're feeling pretty good. But I said, finally, I've got to get the high-speed Google Fiber, and I've got to step up size. They said, what's that show? Meet the Parents or something like that. The lead in the show wants to show off to his father-in-law to be. Say, I popped up the mid-size, and I knew you'd be proud of me. But anyways, so I pulled the trigger on Intellipop, and here's the deal. I was on apparently they have higher speeds. I think some of these companies go up to 5 gig. I don't know if I need that or whatever, but when I found out how much it costs, I quickly knew I didn't need it. Thank goodness I don't need that. And so I said, I've got a $68 bill a month from Infinity, and it's supposedly a killer deal with them that's going away soon, because I think that price is expiring soon. And anyways, I would like to get Google Fiber and stay, the city bill from Utopia and the city, Bountiful City, and Intellipop combined bill. I'd like to stay close to that $68 a month. And she found me a package. It's only got 1 gigabyte, which is probably about 2 or 3 times the speed I'm already getting. And I said, okay, I'll try that. And then she said, I suggest this. Mark, go up to the premium package with the same speed. However, with the premium package, there's no deposit, which I didn't even know there was one. I found out there's a deposit if you get the non-premium package. And she said, your first month is free. I said, Brandy, I think that's what her name was, Brandy, Intellipop, very nice girl. I said, sign me up for the premium package. And so I hope to report back soon with some experience under my belt, but that's what I've decided to do. And I think my sister had similar problems, and I was encouraging her to do the same thing, and I don't know if she did or not. But anyways, Intellipop, who knew? Thank you. So finally cracked the code in Bountiful. Just a side note. It seems like, I guess this city has been notorious for bad internet. Every election time, it seems like there's a fair amount of people that are posting signs about Bountiful high-speed internet. And, do something about this. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. I've been seeing that for years, and nothing was ever done, but I guess now they've done something. Thank you, Bountiful. I love this city. Close enough to Salt Lake City and far enough away. Just perfect. You got something you got to get to, like the world's biggest Costco in downtown Salt Lake City? 20 minutes. Everything's 20 minutes from here. And then, without that, for everything you need day to day, we've got right here in Bountiful. We've got our own Costco. We've got our own Smiths. We've got our own Walgreens. We've got our own Culver's, Food establishments seem to have a hard time in Bountiful. And here's my theory. In fact, my wife's old boss had a restaurant. Remember Kyoto restaurant in downtown Salt Lake City, the Japanese restaurant? Hoppin' Cash Cow. That was owned by my wife's boss. He sold it recently. And I don't know how well it's doing, but I went once and I said, thanks, but no thanks. But he used to have a sister restaurant called Sagano, which is, I guess, a city in the same prefecture as Kyoto, down in Bountiful by the freeway. But it never did anything. And I think here's my theory. We've had a lot of restaurants come and go in on our 500 South exit. Nothing gonna survive. What's the steak joint? Sizzler failed. Everything. There was a what's the ice cream joint on 39 South in Salt Lake City? They had a sister store come up here. Everything goes out of business up here. And here's my theory. Nobody comes to Bountiful, and that's what I love about it. There's low traffic here in Bountiful because you can't get to anywhere else by coming to Bountiful. Nobody comes to Bountiful to get somewhere else. Unlike like Sandy, Utah, the traffic down there, or Provo, Utah, the traffic down there is so horrendous. And they have a lot of restaurants and things down there. And I like going down there on occasion, but oh my gosh. The ice cream joint was Iceberg Ice Cream. Failed. All these businesses failed on 5th South. And that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, even my friend whose dad used to own Fred's Burger Chalet. It was all over Salt Lake City. They split up his dad's restaurants when his dad retired, and one or two of the sons opened up, not my friend, opened up a kind of like a Fred Burger Chalet throwback restaurant called Salt City Burger or something like that. I think there was only 2 restaurants, one in Bountiful and one in Sandy, and they both went under, failed. Oh, sad. Oh, I'm just telling you, Fred's Burger Chalet was, growing up, was my favorite burger. Oh my heavens. They were famous for the condiment bar. You could load up your sandwich with pickles and onions and all kinds of sauces and things. And then it came with a side salad. Or was that separate? I'm not sure. And they only had like 4 or 5 things on their menu. But that was it was the Fred's Burger Chalet. Fred's Burger Chalet, and the theme was a Swiss Alps ski chalet or something, and I think their employees used to wear the leather, not chaps, Lederhosen or whatever they're called, leather kind of a jumpsuit. But that was an icon. They had the best burgers, and part of the reason for those good burgers were this grill that they charred them on, and my friend still has that grill at his house. I took a tour of his grill the other day out on his deck. I said, oh please someday make me a Fred's Burger Chalet burger. And come to find out, his meat supplier, I can't remember what he said. I think he said Murray's Meats, I'm not sure. But he says it was right across the street on 33rd South in Salt Lake. And he said the fat content was 78-20. Or, no, 22 fat, 78 lean. And those burgers used to sing. They were so good. Okay, well, I'm talking about food and memories of the 70s. I can't leave out Yanni's Greek place down on right where Highland Drive and 13th East divide into or combine into one street. In the corner in there that kind of tucked away is a place called Yanni's, and I owe my love of Yanni's to my childhood friend's mother, who took us there and got us hooked on their gyros and shish kebab and oh my heavens. And I think we used to, man, when I was a teenager, I get hungry. I think I would eat 3 of those along with some fries and a tall, large Coke. And I think each, they had only red sauce, no white sauce. There was no white sauce gyros in that, and that red sauce was so delicious. But back in the day, I seem to remember paying about $1.50 to $1.65 for each one. And I wasn't a huge fan of the shish kebab. I mean, who doesn't like, meat or whatever, but oh man. So Yanni's is still around, and the owner, Yanni's, is still alive and comes in every once in a while. He's turned over, or probably sold the joint to some amigos who run it now, but Yanni comes in every once in a while, makes a showing, and I can't remember if I'd never asked him a question if he recognized me. As a kid, we used to go there all constantly. Oh, anyways, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it. There's another 14-minute video. Thank you, bye-bye.